Hello everybody, welcome to Science Abounds, Science at Home, where we will discover home lab magic. We will perform experiments covering scientific principles, reactions and concepts in chemistry, biology, microbiology, microscopy, and even forensic science. Welcome to my channel. Hello everybody, welcome to Science Abounds, Science at Home. In today's experiment, we're going to be looking at the allotropes of sulfur. And we're going to be taking the lab outside to perform the experiments, mainly because of the toxic fumes and smells of sulfur when you heat it. And just for safety reasons, you really don't want to be heating sulfur inside your home. But what is an allotrope? Allotrope refers to different forms of the same element that exist in the same physical state but have different molecular structures or arrangements of atoms, and these different structures often result in distinct physical and chemical properties even though they are composed of the same element. For example, carbon has several allotropes. One allotrope that everyone knows is diamond, where each carbon atom is tetrahedrally bonded to 4 other carbon atoms. And this forms a rigid, transparent, and incredibly hard structure. Another allotrope of carbon is graphite. Here, carbon atoms are arranged in layers of hexagonal lattices, and their layers can slide over one another, making graphite very soft and slippery. And graphene, another allotrope of carbon, is a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal pattern and is known for its strength and conductivity. In this experiment, as I've already said, we're going to be exploring and studying the allotropes of sulfur. Sulfur has several allotropes, each with different molecular structures and properties. And the most common allotropes of sulfur include rhombic sulfur or alpha sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, or known as beta sulfur, plastic sulfur, or amorphous sulfur, and then there's polymer sulfur. We're going to look at 2 forms of allotropes of sulfur in today's experiment. Let's go outside and get started. So we brought the lab outside and we're going to start the experiment. What we need is a burner, we need a test tube, we need a sulfur, and then we need the experiment is in 2 parts. Part 1, we're going to look at monoclinic sulfur, and in the second part we're going to look at plastic sulfur. So for part 1, we need a filter paper, fold it up into a cone like so, and we just open it up like that. Just put it in there for now to hold it, or not, well, we can just put that aside. Next is we're going to add our sulfur. we just want to fill the test tube about a quarter of the way with sulfur. Okay, so we've added about a quarter of sulfur into our test tube, and now we're going to heat it in our burner. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to gently heat it, going in and out of the flame, holding it at an angle. Well, before you heat it, let me just get this filter paper. And what I want to do is I want to gently hold the filter paper in my tongs, like so. It's a bit of a juggling act. So gently in and out of the flame. You want to heat it gently, not violently. You don't want it boiling. Okay, it's starting to liquidize and melt. So as it's melting, it will change color, going to change to an orange color, orange yellow color, and that's the color that we're looking for. Okay, it's all melted, so now I'm going to gently pour this into the filter paper, very gently. Okay, let me turn this off. And we want to let this cool down. Okay, so now we just wait for it to gently cool down. So now the sulfur is cooling down and it's forming these crystalline structures as it's cooling down. And these spindle crystalline structures is the monoclinic sulfur forming. So let's have a look at what they look like under the microscope. So I got the specimen under the microscope, and what we can see is the spindle-like crystalline structure of the monoclinic crystal, sulfur crystal. So they are sharp, spindly, crystalline form. You can see here It might be better actually using a stereo microscope so when you can see it from above. But this is just showing you roughly what to expect from a crystalline monoclinic specimen. Okay, for the second part of the experiment, we're going to repeat what we just did, but we're going to heat the tube until the sulfur turns a dark red color. So I want to light my burner. I've already added the sulfur to the test tube, so now I'm going to gently heat it in and out, just like before, in the flame. When it turns the dark red color, I'm going to pour the molten sulfur into a beaker of water. So it's already melting. So it's gone from yellow to the orange color that we saw with the monoclinic sulfur, and now it's going darker still to a dark red color. So now we want to pour this into the beaker. Turn on the flame. And look what has happened, and formed in the water is what we call plastic sulfur. So I decanted the water from the beaker, and this is what we've got behind. Kind of looks like a creature has left its business behind. But as you can see, it looks like it has a plastic looking texture, hence the name plastic sulfur. So here's the plastic sulfur on a watch glass. I poured it out. It's a solid chunk with a shiny plastic feeling surface. This is plastic sulfur. So that was an interesting experiment that we did today, looking at the different allotropes of sulfur. So let's just recap on what we saw today. And we started off with the most stable form of sulfur, and that's the rhombic allotrope form of sulfur. It's the most stable at room temperature. It does consist of S8 molecules, where each sulfur atoms are arranged in a packed ring. So we started off with rhombic sulfur. We then heated the sulfur in a test tube until it turned an yellow-orange color, and we then filtered it and let it cool down. This formed monoclinic sulfur. This allotrope forms when the rhombic sulfur is heated to a higher temperature and then allowed to cool. It also contains the S8 molecules, but is arranged. The arrangement of these molecules is in the crystal lattice and is different from that of rhombic sulfur. Monoclinic sulfur is yellow, but is less stable than rhombic sulfur, and if allowed to cool down to room temperature, can actually revert back to rhombic sulfur. We saw that the monoclinic sulfur was a spindle-like crystalline structure. In the second part of the experiment, we also heated sulfur in a test tube, but we heated it a little bit longer because we were looking for a dark red color. Once that color appeared, we then poured the sulfur into a beaker of water. And this formed plastic sulfur because it looks rubbery plastic. Okay, this formed, and this plastic sulfur is formed, as we demonstrated, by the rapid cooling of sulfur vapor. Plastic sulfur, it consists of long branched chains of sulfur atoms and has that rubbery plasticky surface appearance. It is an amorphous form, which means it is not crystalline in nature. And also, plastic sulfur, if left long enough upon standing, will transform eventually back to the rhombic sulfur because it is the most stable form of sulfur. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps support the channel and keeps me making more and more videos. Also hit the like and the share button, and check out my Patreon page for exclusive video episodes which will not be shown on YouTube. I also post all the recipes to all my experiments on my Patreon page, which you can access through membership. Please email me your questions, your comments, and also send me your photos and videos of you performing your own experiments in your home lab. Until next time, keep on experimenting. Goodbye, everybody.